The Galactic Call Center buzzed with an almost electric energy as operators answered calls from across the galaxy. It was a realm where the ordinary blended with the extraordinary, a place where humans and aliens alike sought help for problems that often seemed insurmountable. The faint hum of machinery echoed in the background, punctuated by the distant chatter of various species engaging in their own conversations. It was a typical evening, filled with the usual chaos, and yet, there was an undercurrent of tension in the air that Alex Rodriguez could not shake off. Alex was a dedicated after-hours operator, known for his ability to handle even the most difficult of calls with patience and clarity. However, on this night, the weight of the galaxy's problems felt particularly heavy on his shoulders. His desk was cluttered with holographic screens displaying an endless stream of notifications and alerts, each one a reminder of the urgency of his work. He rubbed his tired eyes, feeling the late hour tugging at his consciousness, yet he pushed through, determined to make a difference, even if it was just for one caller at a time. As he juggled multiple calls, his mind drifted to the daily grind, the monotony of answering the same types of queries over and over. It was a job that many would consider mundane, but for Alex, it was a lifeline. He often found solace in the stories of those who called, each voice representing a complex life filled with hopes, fears, and dreams. He had become somewhat of a confidant, a sounding board for countless individuals seeking assistance. But tonight, it felt different. There was a strange energy crackling in the air, an anticipation that something significant was about to unfold. Just as he finished a call with a disgruntled customer from the planet Zorgon, the familiar chime of an incoming call echoed through his headset. The screen flickered to life, displaying a swirling graphic that indicated an intergalactic call. For a moment, Alex hesitated, wondering if this would be another routine inquiry or something more profound. He took a deep breath, reminded himself of the importance of his work, and clicked the button to connect. Galactic Call Center, Alex speaking. "How can I assist you tonight?" he said, his voice steady but laced with curiosity about who was on the other end. The response that followed was not what he expected. A shaky voice filled the line, layered with distress. "Please, I need help. My name is Zektar, and I'm reaching out from the planet Vortis. It's an emergency." The urgency in Zektar's voice pierced through the usual veil of protocol and routine. Alex leaned in closer to the screen, his interest piqued. "What seems to be the problem, Zektar?" "My child is sick, gravely ill, and the bureaucratic systems here are failing us. I can't get the treatment they need." The alien's voice trembled, and Alex could almost hear the desperation radiating from the other side. He could picture Zektar, a single father, struggling to navigate a system that seemed designed to impede rather than help. As Zektar continued to explain the situation, Alex felt an emotional connection forming between them. He recalled his own family struggles, the fears he had faced during difficult times. The memories surged within him, reminding him of the humanity that existed even in the most alien of circumstances. "I can help you," Alex said, a newfound determination igniting within him. "Can you tell me more about the treatment your child needs?" Zektar quickly detailed the complexities of the Vortis healthcare system, a labyrinth of forms, approvals, and endless waiting. Alex listened intently, his heart heavy with the weight of Zektar's plight. "I know how frustrating these systems can be," he replied, empathy evident in his tone. "But we'll find a way through this." The conversation unfolded, revealing the intricate layers of bureaucracy that Zektar had been grappling with. Alex's mind raced as he considered the challenges ahead. He could hear the desperation in Zektar's voice, the fear of potential loss echoing through the connection. "Please, Alex," Zektar implored. "I can't lose my child." Despite the chaos of his surroundings, operators juggling calls, the constant buzz of notifications, Alex felt a clarity he hadn't experienced in a long time. This was not just another call, it was a chance to make a real difference in someone's life. He leaned forward, focusing entirely on Zektar's words, determined to cut through the red tape that had been suffocating them both. "Zektar, I'm going to do everything in my power to help you," Alex promised, the sincerity in his voice resonating through the line. "Let's start by gathering all the information we need to push this forward. I'll be your advocate." As they continued to talk, Alex realized that this was more than just a job for him. It was a calling, a chance to embody the change he wished to see in the galaxy. He knew the night was still young and that challenges lay ahead. But he also knew that he wasn't alone. In that moment, connected by the urgency of Zektar's situation, he felt a sense of purpose. If you're enjoying this story, make sure to subscribe to the channel. The journey was just beginning, and it was going to be a wild ride. He took a deep breath and started to take notes, knowing that this call would be one for the records. The galaxy was vast, filled with countless stories waiting to be heard. And tonight, he had a chance to make a small, yet significant, impact on one of them. As the clock ticked on, Alex felt the weight of the galaxy's problems gradually shift, if only for a moment, as they strategized together. "Let's get to work, Zektar," Alex said, adrenaline coursing through him. Together, they would confront the bureaucratic nightmare, and perhaps, just perhaps, they would find a way to bring hope back into Zektar's life. As the connection solidified, Alex leaned back slightly in his chair, taking in Zektar's strained voice. The intensity of the conversation was palpable, transforming the otherwise monotonous call center into a battleground of emotions. "Can you tell me exactly what your child needs, Zektar?" Alex asked, his heart racing as the gravity of the situation settled over him like a heavy cloak. "My child, Tara, is suffering from a rare condition known as Vortian fever. It causes severe respiratory problems, and the only treatment available is a serum that can only be obtained through the Intergalactic Health Authority," Zektar explained, his voice breaking as he spoke the name of his child. Alex could almost see the alien father, his features crumpled in worry, pacing back and forth in a cramped room filled with the flickering lights of holographic interfaces. "I've been trying to get the authorization signatures for weeks, but every time I submit the forms, they come back with a new requirement or a missing piece of information. I just don't know how to navigate their system anymore." Zektar's voice trembled with desperation. The pain in his tone tugged at Alex's heartstrings, echoing the times he had felt overwhelmed by bureaucracy in his own life. "Listen, I can help you with this," Alex reassured, his voice steady and calm. "Let's take this step by step. What exactly are they asking for in these forms?" He made sure to take notes, his fingers flying over the keyboard as he documented every detail. Zektar's distress was infectious, and Alex could feel his own resolve strengthening with every word exchanged. "They need a clearance from the Central Bureau of Vortis, proof of residency, and a genetic compatibility report. But every time I try to get the genetic report, they say I have to submit additional paperwork proving that I'm Tara's legal guardian." Zektar's voice cracked, and Alex could sense the urgency. "I just need someone to push through these layers of red tape." Alex's mind raced. The bureaucratic hurdles Zektar faced weren't unfamiliar, he had encountered them in the past when dealing with the healthcare system for his own family. "Okay, we can work on this together," he asserted, determination bubbling within him. "Let's focus on getting that clearance first. I'll help you draft a message to the Central Bureau. Maybe if we explain the situation clearly, they'll expedite the process." Zektar took a moment before replying, his voice softer now but still laden with worry. "You would do that for me? For a stranger?" "Of course," Alex replied firmly, feeling a sense of connection growing. "You're not a stranger to me anymore, Zektar. You're a father trying to save his child. That's something I can relate to deeply." The warmth of their shared humanity wrapped around them, transcending the vastness of space. "Thank you, Alex. You don't know what this means to me," Zektar said, his voice steadier now. "I'll do whatever it takes. Just guide me." The two men began to exchange ideas, and Alex could feel the frustration of Zektar's situation bubbling to the surface as they discussed the absurdity of the bureaucratic requirements. "It's as though they want to drown us in paperwork instead of providing help," Alex said, shaking his head in disbelief as he typed. "You would think a system designed to help people would be more efficient." Zektar nodded through the phone, his voice firm. "Exactly. They treat us like numbers, not as living beings with lives at stake." Alex's heart raced as he crafted an email that could cut through the red tape. He poured every ounce of care and urgency into the message, emphasizing Tara's condition, the necessity of the treatment, and the emotional weight of a father's love. "This has to resonate with them," he murmured, half to himself, half to Zektar. "It's about saving a life, not just ticking boxes." The call stretched on, filled with back-and-forth exchanges about every detail of the message. Alex's fingers moved swiftly as he typed, and Zektar provided information, his voice growing steadier with each passing moment. They began to formulate a strategy, creating a plan to gather all necessary documents while emphasizing the urgency of Terra's condition. Do you have any allies back on Vortis? Anyone who can help expedite these approvals? Alex asked, hoping to find a way to accelerate the process. Yes, I have a friend at the Central Bureau, but he has been hesitant to get involved due to the risks of bending the rules, Zektar admitted. But now, I think I can persuade him. If we can show him that Terra's life hangs in the balance, he might reconsider. That's the spirit. Alex encouraged. Once we have the message sent, you should reach out to him immediately. The sooner we get this moving, the better. Thank you, Alex, Zektar said, his gratitude palpable. You are a good person. I wish there was a way I could repay you. Just knowing that I could help is enough, Alex said, feeling a swell of warmth within him. Let's keep this momentum going. I believe we can make a difference. As they wrapped up their conversation, Alex felt invigorated. He was no longer just an operator in a call center, he was part of something larger, a mission to save a child's life. Alright, Zektar, let's get that email sent and then you reach out to your friend. Keep me updated, okay? I will. Thank you, Alex. You've given me hope today. As the call ended, Alex took a moment to reflect. He had answered countless calls before, but this one had shaken him to his core. The stakes were higher than routine inquiries, there was a real child's life on the line. If you're enjoying this story, make sure to subscribe to the channel, he said quietly to himself, feeling the weight of responsibility but also the thrill of purpose. He knew that this would not be the end of their journey. It was just the beginning, and together, they would navigate this labyrinth of bureaucracy, armed with hope and determination. With renewed energy, Alex prepared for the next call, his heart racing with the knowledge that he had made a connection that could change everything. The galaxy was vast, filled with endless stories and struggles, but tonight, he had a chance to be a part of one that truly mattered. As Alex delved deeper into Zektar's predicament, the complexities of the intergalactic healthcare system began to unfold like a complicated tapestry woven with threads of despair and bureaucracy. So, let me understand this, Alex said, his fingers flying across the keyboard as he took notes. Your daughter, Terra, needs a specific treatment, but you have to go through layers of approval, right? Zektar's voice crackled through the receiver, filled with frustration. Yes. It's absurd. There are forms upon forms, and each one requires an approval that can take weeks, sometimes months. And my daughter doesn't have that time. She needs the treatment now. Alex felt a pang of empathy, recalling his own family's struggles within the healthcare system. The incessant waiting, the stacks of paperwork, the feeling of being lost in a maze of red tape, it was all too familiar. I can't imagine what you're going through, he said softly, trying to convey some sense of understanding. But I want to help. Thank you, Alex. You don't know how much this means to me, Zektar replied, his voice tinged with a mix of relief and lingering worry. I've tried everything I can think of, but the bureaucracy is overwhelming. It's as if they care more about processes than about people. That's the issue with so many systems, Alex mused, shaking his head as he leaned back in his chair. They focus on the rules instead of the individuals behind the numbers. We need to find a way to cut through this mess. He paused, thinking about how to approach the situation. What if we draft a compelling message? Something that clearly communicates the urgency of Terra's condition? Zektar hesitated for a moment. You really think that could work? That they might respond? Alex leaned forward, determination igniting within him. It has to work. We need to make them see her as a person, not just a case number. Tell me everything I need to know about her condition, and let's put together a message that they can't ignore. Zektar took a deep breath, the tension palpable in his voice as he began to relay the details of Terra's illness. She has a rare condition that affects her respiratory system. Without the treatment, she will continue to deteriorate. It's a race against time. As Zektar spoke, Alex could visualize the desperation. He typed furiously, crafting the words that would encapsulate not just Tara's medical needs but also the emotional weight of a father's love. This isn't just about medicine, it's about hope. We have to evoke that in our message, he said, weaving together facts and emotion. Right, but it's not just the words, Zektar countered. The system is designed to be cold and unfeeling. How can we possibly get through? Let me worry about that, Alex replied, his confidence growing. If I can get them to understand the human aspect, it might just push them to act quicker. We have to appeal to their sense of compassion. I appreciate your optimism, Alex, Zektar said, the faintest hint of hope lacing his words. What do you need from me? Everything. I need to know the exact treatment, the costs involved, and any deadlines you've been given. And if you have any allies within the bureaucratic system, now's the time to reach out to them, Alex instructed, feeling as though they were embarking on a mission together. Zektar began to gather his thoughts, sharing not just the medical details but also the personal struggles he faced as a single father. I've been trying to manage everything on my own. The stress has been overwhelming. I fear losing her. A silence settled between them, filled with the unspoken weight of their shared humanity. I understand, Alex said finally, his voice softer. I'm here for you, Zektar. You're not alone in this. Thank you, Alex. You are a good person. I wish there was a way I could repay you, Zektar expressed, his gratitude palpable. Just knowing I can help is enough for me, Alex replied, his heart swelling with purpose. Let's keep pushing forward. We'll get this done together. As they finalized the details, Alex felt the adrenaline coursing through him. This call had transformed into something monumental. He wasn't just an operator anymore, he was a lifeline for Zektar and Tara. The stakes had never felt higher. All right, let's get that message ready, Alex said, shifting his focus as he prepared to send the email. He crafted it with care, pouring every ounce of urgency and compassion into the words. In a world so vast and indifferent, he wanted to make sure they were heard. I'll send it right now and keep an eye on the response. Thank you, Alex, Zektar said, relief washing over his voice. I'll reach out to my contact at the Central Bureau immediately. I'll do whatever it takes to save Tara. Good. Every moment counts, Alex encouraged, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. Keep me updated, okay? I will, Zektar promised. And I hope that this email works. I'm starting to believe it might. As their conversation came to an end, Alex hung up the phone and took a deep breath, his mind racing with the possibilities of what lay ahead. He knew that the journey would be fraught with challenges, but they had taken the first vital step. If you're enjoying this story, make sure to subscribe to the channel, he said to himself, the words feeling like an affirmation rather than a mere call to action. The urgency of Zektar's situation mirrored the intensity of his own feelings. He was invested in this now. With resolve, Alex prepared for the next call, his heart full, knowing that he had made a connection that could lead to meaningful change. The galaxy was a vast expanse filled with stories, but tonight, he had a chance to be part of one that truly mattered, a mission to save a child's life and help a father in distress navigate the complexities of a cruel system. Together, they would face the odds. As Alex hung up the phone, a weight lifted momentarily, but the gravity of the situation loomed large in his mind. He glanced around the dimly lit call center, where the hum of machinery and the constant buzz of calls created an almost hypnotic rhythm. His colleagues, tired and weary from long shifts, continued to field calls, their expressions a mix of resignation and determination. But tonight was different. He felt it deep in his bones, the sense that something monumental was at stake. Alex took a moment to gather his thoughts, his fingers drumming nervously on the desk. He had just committed to helping an alien father, Zektar, navigate a bureaucratic labyrinth to secure life-saving treatment for his sick child. The enormity of the task ahead settled heavily on his shoulders. How could he possibly change a system that seemed so indifferent to the struggles of individuals? The protocols were strict, the rules suffocating. He could already hear the voice of his supervisor ringing in his ears, reminding him to stick to the script, to follow the procedures. But how could he stand by when a life was on the line? Hey, Alex, you alright? His colleague, Jenna, asked, peering over her cubicle. She had been at the center long enough to recognize when someone was going through a tough time. Her brow furrowed, concern etched across her face. "Yeah, just thinking about a call I had," he replied, forcing a smile. "You know how it goes." Jenna raised an eyebrow, clearly unconvinced. "You sure? You've been quieter than usual tonight. Everything okay?" Alex hesitated, weighing whether to share the burden of Zektar's plight. But in this environment, where empathy often took a back seat to the relentless pace of calls, he knew he could use the support. "I just took a call from an alien father. His kid is sick, and he's stuck in this bureaucratic nightmare trying to get treatment. I want to help him, but I feel like I'm up against a wall." Jenna's expression softened. "That sounds tough. The system can be brutal. But if anyone can help him, it's you. You've always had a knack for navigating these things." "I wish it felt that way," Alex muttered, running a hand through his hair. "But the rules are so rigid. If I step out of line, I could lose my job. And what good would I be then?" "Sometimes, you have to take risks for the right reasons," Jenna said, her voice low but firm. "You could be the difference between hope and despair for that father and his child." Her words resonated with him. In that moment, Alex realized that he couldn't let the fear of consequences dictate his actions. He owed it to Zektar and Terra to try. "You're right. I need to figure out a plan," he said, a newfound determination igniting within him. "Thanks, Jenna." With a nod, she returned to her own calls, leaving Alex to stew in his thoughts. The clock ticked on, the hours slipping away as he gathered his thoughts. He knew that he would need more than just a plan, he needed allies. Glancing around the room, he could see the toll that the job took on each of his co-workers. They all had their battles, but he sensed that many shared a flicker of that same empathy he felt for Zektar. Gathering the strength to approach them would be the first step. "Hey, everyone!" Alex called out, his voice cutting through the clamor of ringing phones. "Can I get your attention for a minute?" The noise gradually subsided as his colleagues turned to look at him, curiosity mixed with exhaustion in their eyes. "I know we're all busy, but I just got off the phone with a father from another planet. His child needs urgent medical treatment, and he's caught in a bureaucratic mess. I think we can help him." A few heads nodded, and he saw interest spark in their expressions. "I know it's late, but I really think we can make a difference here. It's a complex situation, and I could use some help navigating it. Anyone willing to lend a hand?" "Count me in," shouted Matt, a fellow operator known for his relentless positivity. "What do you need?" Alex's heart swelled with gratitude. "I need information about the healthcare system for aliens. If we can understand the loopholes, maybe we can find a way to expedite the process for Zektar's kid." "Sure thing," Matt replied, already jotting down notes. "I'll dig into it." Others began to chime in, offering their assistance, sharing their own frustrations with the system. Together, they formed a small support group, united by a shared purpose. The camaraderie among the operators was palpable, and Alex felt the burden lift slightly as he realized he wasn't alone in this fight. As they brainstormed, he couldn't help but feel inspired. "Okay, here's what we'll do. We'll compile all the information and create a solid case. Zektar needs to present a compelling argument to the Central Bureau. If we can back him up with the right data, it might just tip the scales in his favor." "Let's do it!" Jenna chimed in, her enthusiasm infectious. The room buzzed with energy, the previous fatigue momentarily forgotten. It felt like a team effort, like they were all part of something bigger than just answering calls. But as the hours passed and the night wore on, Alex knew they were racing against time. Zektar's child was still in critical condition, and each tick of the clock felt like a reminder of their urgency. "We need to move fast," he urged, glancing at the clock. "Let's keep each other updated and meet back here in an hour to regroup." As his colleagues returned to their stations, Alex felt a renewed sense of purpose. He was no longer just an operator, he was a part of a mission. They would fight against the cold bureaucracy that threatened to tear Zektar's family apart. If you're enjoying this story, make sure to subscribe to the channel, he said quietly, a mantra of determination as he prepared for the next call. Tonight, he would not only be answering phones, he would be a voice for the voiceless, a beacon of hope in the bureaucratic darkness. With every ring, he felt more resolute. This was a fight worth fighting, and together, they would face the odds. As the hours dragged on in the Galactic call center, the ambient hum of machinery and the frantic beeping of incoming calls created a symphony of chaos. Alex Rodriguez sat at his station, fingers racing across the keyboard, a blend of exhaustion and determination etched on his face. The glow of the screens illuminated the dark circles under his eyes, remnants of countless nights spent navigating the complexities of intergalactic bureaucracy. He had become a lifeline for those in distress, but tonight felt different. "Hey, Alex. How's it going?" Jenna, his colleague, poked her head over the cubicle wall, her voice a comforting balm amid the chaos. "Just another night trying to save the galaxy, one call at a time," he replied with a half-hearted smile, grateful for the brief distraction. "You know how it is." "Yeah, but it looks like you could use a break," she said. "Want me to cover for you?" No. I can't. I've got to stay focused. There's a father out there depending on me," he said, a flicker of worry shadowing his expression. Jenna raised an eyebrow, intrigued. "What's going on?" "It's this alien named Zektar. He called earlier, desperate for help. His kid is sick, and he's stuck in this bureaucratic nightmare trying to get treatment," Alex explained, the weight of the situation pressing down on him. "I'm trying to figure out a way to help him." "Sounds heavy," Jenna replied, her tone shifting to one of sympathy. "I can't even imagine what he's going through. It's rough enough here, let alone in a different galaxy." "Yeah. I just can't shake the feeling that I need to do more," Alex admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. "But the rules, they're so rigid. If I step out of line, I could lose my job. And what good would I be then?" "Sometimes, you have to take risks for the right reasons," Jenna said, her voice low yet firm. "You could be the difference between hope and despair for that father and his child." Her words resonated with him. In that moment, Alex realized that he couldn't let the fear of consequences dictate his actions. He owed it to Zektar and Terra to try. "You're right. I need to figure out a plan," he said, a newfound determination igniting within him. "Thanks, Jenna." With a nod, she returned to her own calls, leaving Alex to stew in his thoughts. The clock ticked on, the hours slipping away as he gathered his thoughts. He knew that he would need more than just a plan, he needed allies. Glancing around the room, he could see the toll that the job took on each of his co-workers. They all had their battles, but he sensed that many shared a flicker of that same empathy he felt for Zektar. Gathering the strength to approach them would be the first step. "Hey, everyone!" Alex called out, his voice cutting through the clamor of ringing phones. "Can I get your attention for a minute?" The noise gradually subsided as his colleagues turned to look at him, curiosity mixed with exhaustion in their eyes. "I know we're all busy, but I just got off the phone with a father from another planet. His child needs urgent medical treatment, and he's caught in a bureaucratic mess. I think we can help him." A few heads nodded, and he saw interest spark in their expressions. "I know it's late, but I really think we can make a difference here. It's a complex situation, and I could use some help navigating it. Anyone willing to lend a hand?" "Count me in," shouted Matt, a fellow operator known for his relentless positivity. "What do you need?" Alex's heart swelled with gratitude. "I need information about the healthcare system for aliens. If we can understand the loopholes, maybe we can find a way to expedite the process for Zektar's kid." "Sure thing," Matt replied, already jotting down notes. "I'll dig into it." Others began to chime in, offering their assistance, sharing their own frustrations with the system. Together, they formed a small support group, united by a shared purpose. The camaraderie among the operators was palpable, and Alex felt the burden lift slightly as he realized he wasn't alone in this fight. As they brainstormed, he couldn't help but feel inspired. "Okay, here's what we'll do. We'll compile all the information and create a solid case. Zektar needs to present a compelling argument to the Central Bureau. If we can back him up with the right data, it might just tip the scales in his favor. Let's do it! Jenna chimed in, her enthusiasm infectious. The room buzzed with energy, the previous fatigue momentarily forgotten. It felt like a team effort, like they were all part of something bigger than just answering calls. But as the hours passed and the night wore on, Alex knew they were racing against time. Zektar's child was still in critical condition, and each tick of the clock felt like a reminder of their urgency. We need to move fast, he urged, glancing at the clock. Let's keep each other updated and meet back here in an hour to regroup. As his colleagues returned to their stations, Alex felt a renewed sense of purpose. He was no longer just an operator, he was part of a mission. They would fight against the cold bureaucracy that threatened to tear Zektar's family apart. If you're enjoying this story, make sure to subscribe to the channel, he said quietly, a mantra of determination as he prepared for the next call. Tonight, he would not only be answering phones, he would be a voice for the voiceless, a beacon of hope in the bureaucratic darkness. With every ring, he felt more resolute. This was a fight worth fighting, and together, they would face the odds. As the hours dragged on in the Galactic call center, Alex felt a mix of excitement and anxiety bubbling within him. The camaraderie he had sparked with his co-workers fueled his determination. They were all in this together, ready to tackle the bureaucratic nightmare that threatened Zektar's family. The clock was ticking, and he could feel the weight of urgency pressing down on him. Okay, team, he said, gathering everyone around him once more. We need to come up with an effective strategy to help Zektar. Let's split up the tasks. I'll focus on gathering evidence about the intergalactic healthcare system, and I need each of you to look for any loopholes or cases similar to his. Matt eagerly raised his hand. I can check the archives for past cases. There have to be examples where the bureaucracy has bent the rules for urgent medical care. If we can show a precedent, that might help Zektar's case. Great idea, Matt. And Jenna, can you look into contacting any advocacy groups or other organizations that have dealt with similar issues? Alex asked, feeling the momentum build. Absolutely, she replied, her eyes lighting up with purpose. I'll see if I can find any contacts who might be willing to speak out on this. If we can get a public figure or an organization behind us, that will add weight to our arguments. The group quickly fell into action, the once chaotic din of the call center transforming into a buzzing hive of focused energy. Phones rang in the background, but Alex felt a surge of motivation. They were on a mission, and it felt exhilarating to be part of something larger than themselves. As he began to sift through the data regarding alien healthcare policies, Alex couldn't help but feel a pang of frustration at the complexity of it all. The bureaucracy was labyrinthine, with layers upon layers of regulations that seemed designed to protect the system rather than the people within it. He scrolled through file after file, trying to find anything that could aid Zektar. If only they could see how their rules are hurting families, he muttered under his breath. He recalled Zektar's desperate voice, filled with emotion as he spoke about his child, Tara, and the urgency of their situation. Their plight was not just another number in the system, it was a reality that required immediate attention. We can't let them down, Alex whispered, more to himself than anyone else. The sound of typing in whispers filled the air, and Alex glanced around the room. His colleagues were deeply engrossed in their tasks, their faces a mixture of concentration and determination. It was inspiring to see how they all rallied together, united by a single purpose. Eventually, after what felt like an eternity, Matt shouted, "I found something." The excitement in his voice drew everyone's attention. What did you get? Alex asked, hurrying over to Matt's desk. There's a case from a few years back where a petition was filed for a similar situation. An alien child was granted expedited treatment due to public pressure and advocacy. If we can pull together the right documentation, we can argue that Zektar's situation warrants the same urgency. Yes. That's exactly what we need, Alex replied, a spark of hope igniting within him. If we can show that there's a precedent, it might persuade them to act quickly. As the night wore on, they continued their work, fueled by coffee and the shared drive to make a difference. Alex felt a bond forming with his co-workers, a sense of unity that transcended their usual interactions. They were no longer just operators, they were advocates, allies, and friends. After gathering more information and uncovering multiple instances where the bureaucracy had bent for families in need, Alex called everyone back to regroup. "All right, let's see what we have," he said, glancing around the room. "I think we're starting to build a solid case." Jenna shared her findings, detailing the advocacy groups she had contacted and their willingness to lend their support. "They're ready to mobilize their networks if we can draft a compelling message," she said, her voice filled with excitement. Matt added, "I've compiled the precedents we found. If we can present them in a clear, concise way, we might be able to sway the decision makers." Feeling the adrenaline rush through him, Alex nodded. "Let's take it one step further. We need to prepare a presentation that not only outlines the facts but also illustrates the emotional weight of Zektar's situation. It can't just be about regulations, it has to be about compassion." As they worked into the night, crafting their presentation, Alex felt a renewed sense of purpose. Every statistic they included was paired with the heart-wrenching story of Zektar and Tara, illustrating the real-life implications of their struggle. The atmosphere was electric as they rehearsed their points, each member of the team contributing their strengths. Alex felt a mixture of hope and anxiety as they prepared for the moment of truth. Would their efforts be enough to break through the bureaucratic indifference? "Whatever happens, we've done everything we can," Jenna said, her voice steady and reassuring. "We're not just fighting for Zektar, we're fighting for every family that feels powerless in the system." "Exactly," Alex agreed, determination flooding him. "If we can make a difference here, it could inspire change for others. We're not just operators anymore, we're advocates for justice." Just as they began to wrap up for the night, Alex's comm unit beeped, signaling an incoming call. He quickly grabbed the headset, ready to take the next call with renewed vigor. "This is Alex from the Galactic Call Center. How can I assist you?" As he prepared himself for whatever challenge lay ahead, he felt the strength of his team behind him. "If you're enjoying this story, make sure to subscribe to the channel," he thought, a newfound confidence surging within him. Tonight, he was not just answering calls, he was part of something monumental, standing up for what was right. Together, they were making a difference, one call at a time. As dawn approached, the atmosphere in the Galactic Call Center felt charged with tension. Alex could sense the weight of their mission pressing down on him and his team. They had put together a compelling case for Zektar, but the real challenge lay ahead. It was time to present their findings to the higher-ups. The fate of Zektar's child hung in the balance, and the stakes couldn't be higher. Alex gathered his colleagues in the small conference room, the walls adorned with holographic displays of their achievements. The faint buzz of machines and distant chatter from the call center only added to the urgency of the moment. "All right, everyone, let's focus," he said, trying to instill a sense of calm. "We've done our research, and now it's time to share it with the decision makers." Jenna, a determined operator with a knack for detail, nodded. "We need to emphasize the emotional aspect of Zektar's story. This isn't just about regulations, it's about a father's love for his sick child." Her passion was contagious, and Alex felt a renewed sense of hope. "Exactly," Alex replied, pacing in front of the group. "We need to show them that behind every statistic is a human life. We'll start with the precedents we found, then move on to the emotional narrative. If we can connect their hearts to the data, we might stand a chance." The team began to discuss their roles in the presentation, each member eager to contribute their strengths. As they practiced their lines, Alex felt a sense of unity forming among them. They were no longer just co-workers, they were allies united by a common goal. The camaraderie they shared fortified their resolve. After hours of preparation, they were finally ready. The time came to meet with the higher authorities, and a wave of anxiety washed over Alex as they stepped into the large meeting room. The air was thick with expectation. A long table dominated the space, where several stern-looking officials sat, their expressions unreadable. "Thank you for coming," one of the officials said, glancing at their notes. "We understand you have a case you'd like to present." "Thank you for the opportunity," Alex responded, his voice steady despite the butterflies in his stomach. "Today, we're here to discuss Zektar and his child, Tara, who is in desperate need of medical assistance." As he spoke, he could see the officials exchanging glances, their interest piqued. He continued, Zektar is facing an overwhelming bureaucratic nightmare that threatens his child's life. We've gathered evidence that shows the urgency of their situation. There is a precedent for expedited treatment in similar cases. He gestured towards Jenna, who stood ready to present her findings. Jenna took a deep breath, stepping forward. In the past, there have been instances where children in similar circumstances were granted expedited treatment due to public advocacy. This is not just a matter of policy, it's a matter of compassion. Alex felt the tension in the room shift slightly. The officials leaned in, intrigued. We have documented cases where public outcry has led to immediate action. Zektar's situation warrants the same consideration. Just as they were gaining traction, one of the officials interjected. While your intentions are commendable, we must adhere to the regulations set forth. Deviating from protocol could set a dangerous precedent. Alex's heart sank. He could feel the walls closing in, the bureaucratic machine grinding against their hopes. But this isn't just about regulations. It's about a child's life, he pressed, his voice rising slightly in desperation. If we let rules dictate compassion, we lose sight of what it means to be human. The room fell silent, the weight of his words hanging in the air. But the officials remained unmoved, their expressions cold and unyielding. We understand your concerns, but the system is in place for a reason, another official replied, his tone firm. Frustration bubbled inside Alex. He could feel Zektar's anxiety from the other end of the line, the fear and helplessness of a father fighting for his child. You don't understand, he said, his voice steadying. Zektar isn't just a number, he's a father who is losing hope. We need to show some humanity here. The officials exchanged more glances, and Alex could see their resolve beginning to waver. Just as he was about to press further, Jenna stepped in again. What if we could gather public support? If we can mobilize advocacy groups, we might be able to change their minds. Alex's eyes brightened with the idea. Yes. If we can reach out to the public and share Zektar's story, we could create a movement. We can show that this isn't just a bureaucratic issue but a moral one. The officials seemed contemplative, but skepticism lingered. Even if you manage to gather public support, it would take time, one of them said, crossing his arms. That's true, Alex acknowledged, but every moment we wait is a moment Tara suffers. We can't afford to delay. As the discussion continued, Alex's frustration mounted. He could see their hearts were not entirely closed, but the bureaucratic walls seemed insurmountable. What if we reach out to the media? Alex suggested suddenly, the idea springing forth with hope. A heartfelt message about Zektar's struggle could resonate with the public. If they see the urgency, they'll rally behind us. The officials looked surprised, exchanging uncertain glances. The prospect of public scrutiny might just be the leverage they needed. It's a risky move, one of them warned. Risky, yes, Alex agreed, but necessary. Sometimes, we have to take a leap of faith for what's right. If we succeed, it could change not just Zektar's life, but the lives of countless others who find themselves trapped in this bureaucratic web. The room buzzed with an electric energy as they considered his proposal. Alex felt a surge of adrenaline. If you allow us to pursue this, we can make a difference. We can advocate for Zektar and show that the system can be compassionate. Despite the initial reluctance, cracks began to form in their resistance. Alex could feel a shift, a glimmer of hope. If you're enjoying this story, make sure to subscribe to the channel, he thought, knowing that their fight was far from over, but every little bit of support counted. Finally, one of the officials leaned forward, nodding slowly. All right. We'll allow you to pursue this avenue. But we expect regular updates on your progress. Understand that this is a conditional approval. Alex let out a breath he didn't realize he was holding. Thank you, he said, his voice filled with relief. As they exited the meeting room, Alex felt a mixture of triumph and anxiety. The journey ahead wouldn't be easy, but they had taken a significant step forward. We're not done yet, he told his team, determination flooding his veins. Let's get to work. Together, they were ready to fight for Zektar and Tara, and Alex knew they were stronger together. The weight of the galaxy felt a little lighter as they stepped back into the bustling call center, ready to make a real difference. As the news of their proposed strategy to reach out to the media rippled through the team, an air of renewed hope enveloped the group. They quickly reconvened in their shared workspace, a bustling area filled with the low hum of machinery and the sharp clicks of keyboards. The fluorescent lights above flickered slightly, casting a sterile glow over the array of terminals and holographic displays. Alex felt an electric energy buzzing among his colleagues, their initial hesitance now transformed into a palpable excitement. "All right, team," Alex began, his voice rising above the chorus of chatter. "We need to act quickly. We have Zektar's story, and we need to express the urgency of his situation. The public can be our greatest ally." He paced back and forth, thinking through the points they needed to cover. "We have to emphasize that this isn't just about bureaucratic red tape, it's about a father fighting for his child's life. We need to make Zektar relatable, to evoke empathy. We want people to see him, not just as a statistic, but as a dad who feels helpless." Jenna, one of his colleagues, nodded. "We should draft a press release that highlights Zektar's story, his challenges, and how the system is failing him. We need to make it personal." "Exactly," Alex replied, his eyes gleaming with determination. "We can include quotes from Zektar, maybe even an image of him and Tara, something that shows their bond. The more real it feels, the better." The team quickly split into groups, each taking on specific tasks. Some began drafting the press release while others worked on contacting various media outlets. The air was thick with urgency as the sound of fingers dancing over keyboards filled the room. Alex glanced around, feeling a sense of camaraderie strengthen among them. They were united by a common purpose now, each person contributing in their unique way. As they worked, the clock ticked ominously, reminding them that time was not on their side. Zektar's child was still in critical condition, and every moment felt like a lifetime. Alex pushed his worries aside, focusing instead on the task at hand. "If you're enjoying this story, make sure to subscribe to the channel," he reminded himself, knowing that their journey needed to resonate beyond the walls of the call center. After several hours of intense collaboration, they finally crafted a captivating press release. The headline was bold: "Galactic Healthcare System Fails a Father in Need." They included heartfelt quotes from Zektar, painting a vivid picture of the struggles he faced daily. It was raw, emotional, and most importantly, it was human. Once the press release was sent out, they turned their attention to social media. Alex knew that in the digital age, a single tweet or post could ignite a firestorm of support. He logged into the company's social media account, his fingers trembling as he typed out a brief message. "Help us spread the word. A father from a distant star needs our help to save his child. #SaveTara #Galactic Healthcare." As he hit post, he felt a wave of apprehension wash over him. Would people respond? Would they care? He glanced at the growing number of likes and retweets, and his heart raced with hope. Within hours, the response was overwhelming. Supporters began sharing their own stories of bureaucratic struggles, resonating with Zektar's plight. The hashtags started trending, and Alex felt a sense of relief wash over him. They were gaining traction. "Look at this!" Jenna exclaimed, pointing at the screen. "People are starting to rally around Zektar. This is incredible." Alex smiled, though the weight of concern still rested on his shoulders. "This is just the beginning. We need to keep pushing. The more voices we have, the harder it will be for the authorities to ignore us." As the night progressed, the team continued to monitor social media, responding to comments and sharing updates. The atmosphere was electric, filled with hope and determination. It was astonishing to see how a simple act of sharing Zektar's story could mobilize so many people. However, amidst the excitement, a sense of dread crept in. Even as support grew, Alex knew that the bureaucratic system was not easily swayed. Would the authorities truly listen? Suddenly, a notification popped up on Alex's screen. A local news outlet had picked up their story and was interested in interviewing Zektar. A surge of adrenaline coursed through him. "This is it," he shouted, drawing the attention of his colleagues. "We have a media outlet ready to cover this. If we can get Zektar on camera, his story can reach even more people. They quickly contacted Zektar, who had been anxiously waiting for news. When Alex delivered the invitation for an interview, he could hear the relief in Zektar's voice, mingled with disbelief. "You really think they would want to talk to me?" Zektar asked, his voice trembling with hope. "Absolutely," Alex assured him. "You deserve to be heard. Let's show the galaxy the truth of your situation." The day of the interview arrived, and the call center was abuzz with excitement. They set up a designated area for the video call, ensuring that Zektar could be seen and heard clearly. As the feed connected, Alex's heart raced. There was Zektar on the screen, looking nervous yet hopeful. "Thank you for this opportunity," he said, his voice shaking slightly. The reporter, a seasoned journalist known for her empathy, welcomed Zektar and began asking him questions. Alex watched intently, his heart swelling with pride as Zektar shared his story, his struggles, and the love he had for his child. "Why should the galaxy care?" the reporter asked, her tone sincere. Zektar paused, his gaze steady. "Because we are all connected. Every parent worries for their child. I am just one father among many, fighting for the health and future of my child. If my story can help others, then it is worth sharing." Tears stung Alex's eyes as he witnessed the power of Zektar's words. He could feel the impact they were having, transcending species and bureaucratic barriers. As the interview wrapped up, the reporter promised to air the segment during prime time, ensuring that Zektar's story would reach countless viewers across the galaxy. In that moment, Alex felt a renewed sense of purpose coursing through him. They were making waves, and the Empire was beginning to listen. As they ended the call, Alex turned to his team. "This is just the start. Let's keep the momentum going. If you're enjoying this story, make sure to subscribe to the channel," he said, his voice ringing with excitement. The team erupted into cheers, their spirits buoyed by the hope that they were creating real change. The fight for Zektar and Terra was far from over, but now they had a fighting chance. Together, they would continue to push forward, advocating for compassion in a system that had lost its way, and Alex knew they were on the brink of something extraordinary. As the media coverage surged, the public outcry grew louder, echoing through the vast expanse of the galaxy. News outlets began to pick up Zektar's story, and his plight became a trending topic across multiple platforms. The power of social media had transformed the narrative into a rallying cry for those who felt powerless against an indifferent bureaucratic system. Alex felt the adrenaline coursing through him as they monitored the constant stream of notifications on their screens. "Look at this!" Jenna said excitedly, her eyes wide as she pointed to a flurry of retweets and supportive comments. "People are really responding. They're sharing their own stories of struggles with the system. This is amazing." Alex nodded, his heart swelling with a mix of hope and anxiety. "It's incredible. But we can't lose sight of the fact that the authorities still have the final say. We need to keep this momentum going." He turned to his team, who were huddled around the workstation, their faces illuminated by the glow of their screens. "If you're enjoying this story, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We need all the support we can get." The team rallied behind him, energized by the prospect of making a difference. They worked tirelessly, crafting posts that resonated with the public, framing Zektar's situation in a way that highlighted the inherent flaws in the system. They shared images of Zektar and his child, Terra, alongside snippets of their struggles, painting a vivid picture of the challenges they faced. Each post was met with more likes, shares, and comments, growing the community advocating for Zektar. Then came the moment they had all been waiting for. A local news station reached out, expressing interest in interviewing Zektar. It was a big break, and Alex felt a thrill run through him. "This could be our chance. If we can get Zektar on camera, his story can reach even more people," he told his team, his enthusiasm infectious. They contacted Zektar immediately, excitement tinged with nervousness. When Alex delivered the news, he could hear the disbelief and relief in Zektar's voice. "You really think they would want to talk to me?" Zektar asked hesitantly. "Absolutely," Alex assured him. "This is your moment to be heard. Let's show the galaxy the truth of your situation." On the day of the interview, the atmosphere in the call center was charged with anticipation. They set up a designated area for the video call, ensuring that the lighting was just right and the technology functioning smoothly. Alex could feel the weight of responsibility resting on his shoulders, knowing how crucial this moment was for Zektar. When the call connected, Alex's heart raced. There was Zektar on the screen, looking both anxious and hopeful. "Thank you for this opportunity," he said, his voice trembling slightly. The reporter, a well-known journalist with a reputation for her human interest stories, welcomed Zektar warmly. She began with questions that dug deep into his personal journey, allowing him to share the love he had for his child and the bureaucratic nightmare he was navigating. "Why should the galaxy care?" the reporter asked, her tone sincere and inviting. Zektar took a deep breath, his gaze steady. "Because we are all connected. Every parent worries for their child. I am just one father among many, fighting for the health and future of my child. If my story can help others, then it is worth sharing." Tears welled in Alex's eyes as he listened. Zektar's heartfelt words transcended the barriers of species and alien customs, resonating with the universal challenge of parental love. This was more than just a story, it was a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, and the collective struggle for compassion in a complex universe. As the interview wrapped up, the reporter promised to air the segment during prime time. Alex felt a surge of hope. They were gaining traction, and the Empire was starting to listen. When the call ended, the team erupted into cheers. "This is just the start," Alex said, his voice filled with excitement. "Let's keep the momentum going. Leave a like to help the channel grow." The energy in the room was palpable as they high-fived each other, their spirits buoyed by the idea that they were part of something larger than themselves. However, amidst the celebration, Alex knew that the battle was far from over. The bureaucratic system was not easily swayed, and Zektar's child was still in critical condition, waiting for a decision that could determine their fate. The stakes had never been higher, and time was running out. As they continued to monitor the response online, Alex's phone buzzed with a new notification. A wave of anxiety washed over him as he opened the message. It was from Zektar, expressing gratitude for all the support and for giving him a voice. "I never thought I could reach so many people," Zektar wrote. "Thank you for believing in me." Alex felt a mixture of pride and determination. "We haven't done this alone," he typed back. "This is a community effort. Together, we are stronger." The next few days were a whirlwind of activity. Zektar's interview aired, capturing the hearts of viewers across the galaxy. The public's reaction was overwhelming, filled with empathy and support. People began to share their own experiences, many of which mirrored Zektar's struggle. The hashtags they had created exploded, reaching every corner of the galaxy. It was a testament to the power of connection and the shared human experience. As the calls kept coming in, Alex felt a renewed sense of purpose. Each interaction felt more potent, each call an opportunity to advocate for Zektar's cause. He shared updates with his team, encouraging them to engage with the supporters and keep the conversation going. But the real moment of reckoning came when the authorities announced they were reviewing Zektar's case. The public pressure had mounted, and they could no longer ignore the voices calling for compassion. Alex felt a surge of hope, coupled with anxiety. Would this be enough? Would they finally get the answer they all desperately needed? "Keep the pressure on," Alex instructed his team. "We have to make sure they know we won't back down." If you're enjoying this story, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We need to keep this fire burning. As the days rolled on, Alex remained vigilant. The power of the people was undeniable, and he felt it pulsing through every call he took. Zektar's story was no longer just about one father's fight, it had become a movement, a beacon of hope for those stuck in a system that often felt cold and impersonal. With each passing hour, the anticipation grew. The decision was imminent, and they could feel the weight of the moment pressing down. Would the Empire finally listen? Would compassion prevail? Only time would tell. But one thing was certain: Alex, Zektar, and their growing community were ready to fight for what was right, no matter the odds stacked against them. The anticipation in the air was electric as Alex gathered the team in the cramped conference room, the walls adorned with outdated motivational posters and flickering light panels. Each operator wore a mix of hope and anxiety, their faces illuminated by the glow of their devices. They had poured their hearts and souls into this fight, each one contributing their unique skills to support Zektar and his child. Now, they were on the brink of a decision that could change everything. "All right, everyone," Alex began, drawing everyone's attention. The authorities finally responded. They'd made their decision regarding Zektar's child's treatment. The room fell silent as eyes widened and breath was held. The weight of the moment pressed heavily on their shoulders. He could feel his heart pounding in his chest, the tension palpable. "They've agreed to review the case after all the media attention and public outcry," he continued, allowing a flicker of hope to break through the seriousness. "But it's not a guarantee. We need to show them that we won't back down." The operators exchanged glances, some nodding in understanding, others chewing on their nails in worry. Zektar's child was still in critical condition, and time was running out. Each moment felt like a countdown, a ticking clock that reminded them of the urgency of their mission. "Leave a like to help the channel grow," Alex urged, the call to action slipping seamlessly into the tension of the moment. "The more people that know about this, the more pressure we can put on the decision makers." Suddenly, the door swung open, and Zektar entered, his alien features drawn and weary, yet his eyes sparkled with a hint of determination. The room erupted into applause, a chorus of encouragement and support that made Zektar's heart swell. Alex stepped forward, instinctively taking Zektar's hand in a firm grip. "We're doing everything we can," he assured him. "This isn't over yet." "Thank you," Zektar replied, his voice rough but filled with gratitude. "I can't express how much this means to me. You've given me hope when I thought all was lost." His gaze swept over the team, each member a pillar of support in this daunting battle. They were strangers just days ago, but now they were united by a shared purpose. After a brief moment of silence, Alex cleared his throat. "We need to keep the momentum going. We have to show that the galaxy is watching and that we won't accept anything less than compassion and justice." The team nodded, their resolve hardening. They all gathered around Zektar, who stood at the center of the group. "We will not just be a voice, we will be a force," one operator shouted, raising a fist in solidarity. The energy in the room shifted, transforming anxiety into determination. They were not just fighting for Zektar and his child, they were fighting for everyone who had ever felt powerless against a bureaucratic system that seemed cold and unyielding. Days passed, the team tirelessly monitoring the reactions to the media coverage. Each call that came in was a reminder of the stakes involved. Alex found himself taking calls from all corners of the galaxy, providing updates and answering questions. The emotional weight of it all was exhausting, but he thrived on the support pouring in. One evening, as he sorted through the mountain of messages, a notification caught his eye. It was from a prominent galactic news outlet, expressing interest in covering the story again. This was their chance to amplify their voice, to keep Zektar's plight in the public eye. "If you're enjoying this story, don't forget to subscribe to the channel," he encouraged his colleagues, excitement bubbling over. The next day, they gathered once more, this time with a plan to reach out to other influential figures and organizations across the galaxy. "We need allies," Alex said, his voice steady. "We can't do this alone." As he spoke, he felt the familiar rush of adrenaline. This was more than just a job now, it was a movement. Zektar stood by his side, a symbol of all they were fighting for. "Together, we can change the narrative," he said, addressing the room. "We can make the Empire listen." His words echoed with a conviction that resonated deeply with everyone present. As the days turned into weeks, the emotional toll began to weigh heavily on Alex. He found himself staying up late, poring over reports and messages, his mind racing with worry for Zektar's child. The stakes had grown higher than he had ever imagined, intertwining their lives in unexpected ways. Each heartbeat reminded him of the fragility of life, the urgency of their mission. When the day finally came for the authorities to announce their decision, the atmosphere in the call center was electric with anticipation. Alex gathered everyone around the main console, his heart racing. "This is it," he said, looking at the faces of his team, at Zektar, who stood resolute by his side. As the announcement began, the room fell silent, eyes glued to the screen. The representative from the authorities spoke with a robotic tone, detailing the bureaucratic processes, the frameworks they had to consider. Alex held his breath, the tension in the air thick enough to cut with a knife. Finally, the moment arrived. The representative made the pivotal announcement. After careful consideration of the public response and the urgent nature of this case, we are granting Zektar's child immediate treatment under our intergalactic healthcare system. Relief washed over the room, accompanied by a roar of applause. Tears streamed down Zektar's face as he absorbed the news, his heart swelling with gratitude and disbelief. "We did it," someone shouted, and the room erupted into cheers, a chorus of joy echoing through the call center. Alex pulled Zektar into a tight embrace, feeling the weight of their struggle lift, if only for a moment. "This is just the beginning," he said, his voice filled with emotion. "We can change the system." Zektar nodded, a deep sense of gratitude in his eyes. "You have shown me that compassion knows no boundaries. Thank you for standing with me." As the celebrations continued, Alex felt a shift inside himself. This wasn't just about one case, it was about the power of community, about standing up against a system that often ignored the vulnerable. It was a testament to the strength of humanity and the connections they forged in the face of adversity. In that moment, he knew they had made a difference, not just for Zektar and his child but for countless others whose voices had been silenced. They had proven that even in the depths of bureaucracy, compassion could shine through. And as he looked around at his team, he realized that they were not just co-workers anymore, they were family, bound by a shared purpose and an unwavering commitment to make the galaxy a better place. With renewed determination, Alex smiled. "Let's keep fighting for what's right," he declared. If you're enjoying this story, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We have so much more to do. The momentum continued to grow, the wave of change spreading beyond the walls of their call center, rippling through the galaxy, one voice at a time. As the call center buzzed with the usual hum of voices and machinery, Alex Rodriguez felt a sense of calm settle over him. It was a peculiar contrast to the storm of emotions he had experienced in the past weeks. The news about Zektar's child's treatment had spread through the office like wildfire, igniting a spark of hope and unity among the operators. Now, as Alex sat at his station, he found himself smiling more often, and the weight on his shoulders seemed lighter. The camaraderie that had developed among his colleagues was palpable. They bonded over coffee breaks, sharing stories of their own struggles and triumphs, and each conversation reinforced the belief that they could indeed make a difference. Alex took a deep breath, feeling the comforting aroma of freshly brewed coffee mixed with the faint scent of the cleaning supplies used to maintain the workspace. It was a reminder of the hard work and dedication that fueled their mission. One afternoon, while sorting through the flood of messages from supporters and allies, Alex received a notification that made his heart race. It was an invitation from a prominent galactic news outlet, eager to cover Zektar's story again. This was a golden opportunity. If they could amplify the message even more, perhaps they could turn the tide on the bureaucratic struggles that had plagued Zektar and countless others. "Hey, everyone!" Alex called out to the team gathered around the central console. "You won't believe this. The Galactic News Network wants to cover Zektar's story again. This is our chance to keep the momentum going." The room erupted into cheers and high fives, the excitement infectious. If you're enjoying this story, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We need as many voices as we can get. Zektar stood among them, a symbol of resilience and hope. His eyes shone with gratitude, reflecting the unwavering belief he had in the mission. "Together, we can change the narrative," he said, his voice steady and filled with conviction. "We can make the Empire listen." His words echoed through the room, resonating deeply with each person present. As they began brainstorming how to coordinate the coverage, Alex felt a wave of adrenaline surge through him. This was no longer just about answering calls, it had transformed into something much bigger. It was about advocating for those who felt powerless, about standing alongside those who had been silenced. Days turned into weeks, and the emotional toll of the journey weighed heavily on Alex. He found himself staying up late, poring over reports, and managing the endless stream of messages. The worry for Zektar's child lingered in the back of his mind, a constant reminder of the stakes involved. Each heartbeat felt like a call to action, urging him to keep pushing forward. When the day finally arrived for the authorities to announce their decision, the atmosphere in the call center was electric. Alex gathered everyone around the main console, excitement and anxiety swirling within him. "This is it," he said, looking at the faces of his team, at Zektar standing resolutely at his side. As the announcement began, silence enveloped the room. Voices faded, and all eyes were fixed on the screen. The representative from the authorities, a stern-looking figure with an air of indifference, began to speak. Alex held his breath, tension mounting with each word uttered. The bureaucratic jargon felt suffocating, the stakes impossibly high. As the final moments approached, the representative cleared their throat. "After careful consideration of the public response and the urgent nature of this case, we are granting Zektar's child immediate treatment under our intergalactic healthcare system." The room erupted into cheers, a wave of relief washing over everyone present. Tears glistened in Zektar's eyes as he absorbed the news, disbelief mingling with gratitude. "We did it," someone shouted, and the cheers became a chorus of joy, echoing through the call center. Alex pulled Zektar into a tight embrace, feeling the weight of their struggle lift, at least for that moment. "This is just the beginning," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "We can change the system." Zektar nodded, his expression a mix of awe and deep appreciation. "You have shown me that compassion knows no boundaries. Thank you for standing with me." His words resonated in Alex's heart, reinforcing the bond they had formed through shared struggle. As the celebrations continued, Alex's thoughts turned inward. He recognized that this journey was about more than just one case. It was about the collective power of compassion and commitment to fight against a system that often neglected the vulnerable. It was a testament to the strength of humanity and the connections forged in the face of adversity. In that moment, Alex felt a profound sense of purpose. "Let's keep fighting for what's right," he declared, his voice rising above the excitement. "If you're enjoying this story, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We have so much more to do." His words echoed through the room, igniting a renewed sense of determination among his colleagues. As the days passed, the call center became a hub of activism, with greater collaboration and heightened energy. They worked tirelessly to ensure that Zektar's story remained in the spotlight. Alex coordinated with the media, engaging in interviews and sharing their journey. Each interaction reinforced their mission, breathing life into the movement they had started together. Zektar became a familiar face within the community, sharing his story with anyone who would listen. His determination to advocate for others in similar situations inspired many. "We must continue to raise our voices," he urged, galvanizing support in the most passionate way. The impact was palpable, rippling through the galaxy as more and more people joined the cause. As they pressed on, the call center became a beacon of hope, drawing attention from not only the public but also influential figures willing to lend their support. Alex felt a surge of pride watching how their efforts were uniting people across galaxies, transcending species and backgrounds. Each call they answered now felt like a step toward something greater. The journey had transformed them all, not just as co-workers but as a family united by a shared purpose. They celebrated the small victories, each one a reminder of the power of community and the strength that comes from standing together. Through it all, Alex had learned that even the smallest act of compassion could create a ripple effect, leading to monumental change. And as he looked around at his team, he realized that they were more than just operators answering calls. They were advocates, champions of justice, and defenders of those who had been silenced. Each day brought new challenges, but together, they forged ahead with unwavering resolve. "We're in this together," Alex reminded them, his heart swelling with pride. "Let's keep pushing for a brighter future." The call center hummed with activity, but tonight, a tranquil stillness had settled over Alex Rodriguez as he prepared for the end of his shift. The atmosphere was electric with anticipation, a stark contrast to the chaos that usually accompanied the after-hours calls. The weight of the galaxy's problems felt lighter, almost manageable, as he reflected on the whirlwind of events that had led him here. Just a week ago, he had been an ordinary call center operator, navigating through calls with a mix of frustration and fatigue. But now, he was part of something larger, something that had the potential to change lives. The very thought brought a smile to his face. Zektar had become a symbol of resilience, and their shared journey was a testament to the power of determination and compassion. Alex had learned that it didn't take superpowers to make a difference. Sometimes, all it took was a willingness to listen and act. As he tidied up his workspace, Alex's thoughts wandered to Zektar. The last conversation they had was etched in his memory, a vivid reminder of the bond they had forged. Zektar had called to share the news about his child's treatment, a moment filled with joy and relief. "You have no idea how much this means to me," Zektar had said, his voice thick with emotion. "You treated my family like your own." Those words resonated deep within Alex, igniting a passion he never knew he possessed. While packing up his belongings, a notification flashed on his screen. It was a message from Zektar. Alex's heart raced as he read the text. "Can we talk? It's important." Without hesitating, he hit the button to call back, eager to hear what was on Zektar's mind. When Zektar's familiar voice filled the line, Alex felt a wave of warmth wash over him. "Alex, I wanted to share something incredible with you," Zektar began, excitement bubbling through his words. "After everything we've been through, I started a community initiative to help other parents facing similar struggles. I want to create a support network, and I need your help." A surge of pride swelled within Alex. "That's amazing, Zektar. I would be honored to help." They discussed ideas, brainstorming ways to raise awareness and connect with others who had faced the daunting bureaucratic challenges of intergalactic healthcare. The conversation flowed seamlessly, filled with laughter and shared determination. Alex found himself invigorated, inspired by Zektar's vision for a brighter future. As they wrapped up their call, Zektar's voice took on a more serious tone. "You really are a beacon of hope, Alex. I don't think I could have done this without your support. You made me believe that change is possible." Alex felt a lump form in his throat, overwhelmed by the sincerity of Zektar's gratitude. "Thank you for saying that, Zektar. But remember, this is our journey together." If you're enjoying this story, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. "There's so much we can accomplish together," Alex replied, his heart full of hope and determination. After hanging up, he reflected on how far they had come. Their shared mission was not just about Zektar's child, it was about advocating for families across the galaxy. They were fighting a system that often overlooked the vulnerable, and together they were building a movement. The call center had transformed into a hub of activism, a space where compassion and camaraderie flourished. As Alex stepped outside, the cool breeze brushed against his skin, refreshing and invigorating. The stars twinkled overhead, a reminder of the vastness of the universe and the many lives that needed support. He knew that the road ahead would not be easy, but the thought of working alongside Zektar and his colleagues filled him with determination. In the days that followed, Alex dove headfirst into the initiative. He organized meetings, reached out to local organizations, and connected with families who had faced similar challenges. The support they received was heartwarming. People from various backgrounds came together, united by a common cause. They shared stories of resilience, each one a thread woven into the fabric of their collective fight. One evening, while preparing for a community event, Alex received a message from Zektar. "We did it! Our first meeting is scheduled for next week, and we have over 50 families signed up." The excitement in Zektar's words was infectious. Alex could almost hear the joy in his voice through the text. "This is just the beginning," he replied, filled with enthusiasm. When the day of the meeting arrived, the atmosphere was electric. Families gathered in a local community center, each one eager to share their stories and support one another. Alex stood at the front of the room, heart pounding as he prepared to speak. "Thank you all for being here," he began. "We are not alone in this fight. Together, we can create a network of support that empowers each other to navigate the often complicated healthcare system." As stories were shared, the room filled with a sense of belonging. It was a powerful reminder that they were not just voices in the void, they were a community united in their struggles and triumphs. Alex felt a sense of purpose like never before, knowing that their collective efforts could lead to tangible change. As the meeting concluded, Zektar approached Alex, his eyes shining with gratitude. "You are a true friend, Alex. I never imagined we could achieve this together. Thank you for believing in this cause." Alex smiled, feeling the warmth of their friendship enveloping him. "This is our victory, Zektar. I'm proud of what we're building together." Weeks turned into months, and the initiative continued to grow. They established a website, provided resources, and organized workshops to empower families navigating the healthcare system. The community became a source of strength for many, a lifeline in times of uncertainty. Alex felt an immense sense of pride witnessing the impact they were making. Then, one evening, Alex received a surprise call from a news station. They had heard about the initiative and wanted to feature Zektar and Alex in a segment highlighting their efforts. The thought of sharing their story with a broader audience was exhilarating. "This could bring even more awareness," Alex exclaimed, excitement bubbling within him. When the day of the interview arrived, Alex stood nervously in front of the camera, Zektar at his side. The host welcomed them, and as they shared their journey, Alex felt the weight of their accomplishments lift him. They spoke about the challenges they faced and the hope they had ignited within the community. The segment aired, and the response was overwhelming. Messages of support flooded in from across the galaxy, inspiring others to join their cause. In that moment, Alex realized that their story was more than just about one family or call, it was about the power of human connection and the resilience of the spirit. They had sparked a movement that transcended boundaries and brought people together. It was a testament to the enduring strength of compassion and the belief that everyone deserved to be heard. As the interview concluded, Zektar turned to Alex, his eyes filled with gratitude. "We've come so far, my friend. Thank you for standing by my side through this journey." Alex smiled, feeling a sense of fulfillment and purpose. "And thank you, Zektar, for showing me the true meaning of hope. Together, we'll continue to fight for those who need it most." Their journey was far from over, but they faced the future with renewed determination. As they walked away from the cameras, Alex couldn't help but feel that they were just getting started. The galaxy was vast, and there were still countless stories waiting to be told, voices yearning to be heard. And with each call that came in, Alex knew he would be ready to answer, for the Empire was finally listening.